My name is Johnny. This is my 1992 Honda Prelude. This project has been a dream of mine for about 6 years now, since high school, since the beginning of high school for me. This car in specific, I just got two and a half years ago when I came back from college. I had originally bought a Prelude at 16, but that I still have it. It's actually outside somewhere. But the issue with that one was the body was just very rusted up. Can you stop, buddy? I apologize. This guy is very freaking. He's cuddly. He's an attention whore. Sometimes. When he's inside, at least. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So this car, back to what I was saying. My first Prelude, I still have it. I bought it turboed, eBay turboed. It's a bit of a Frankenstein motor, actually. What I mean by that, it's got an F20B head, F20B VTEC head, and then it's got an H22A4 block. So that actually came in the 5th generation Honda Prelude. This is the 4th generation Honda Prelude, if you don't know. And then the transmission came from a Honda Accord or an Acura CL. They shared the same 5-speed. So yeah, the head, block, and transmission, all from different cars. That's why it's kind of a Frankenstein, but it all bolts up, it all works together, no problem. The car runs and drives and everything. I just don't really like to use it too well because a turboed H series motor isn't really great if it's not sleeved. If the block isn't sleeved, mainly because it's already pretty high compression. Those motors, the H series, specifically the H22s, normally run at a minimum of 10-to-1 compression ratio. So that's already pretty high for a gas motor. And then slapping a turbo on top of that, you really run the risk of just blowing your piston rings and blowing your block, really, in those H22s. So really the max you can push on a stock block would be about 6 psi safely. Anyway, I'm sidetracking. That car, it still runs and drives, like I said, but the body is shot. When I had originally bought it, the body was it was painted. It was like all one color. It was all it looked decent. It looked good in photos from Facebook Marketplace and whatnot. And then when I went to go check it out, it was already nighttime by the time me and my brother got there, so we couldn't really see too well. But from what we did notice, the car started up, moved under its own power. So basically checked off our needs, like an absolute needs. The car needed to drive, the car needed to turn on, obviously, and it needed to look decent. And it did. It checked all those boxes. Cut to when I started doing body work on it, the more and more I started sanding it, the more and more I got depressed because more and more rust just kept being uncovered. And it was repaired with Bondo. It wasn't a bad patch. Like it didn't, like the Bondo work, it wasn't terrible, but it was way too much rust. So I eventually stopped really working on that car. Kind of just let it push it off to the side. Didn't really pay attention, or didn't really do any improvements because, well, I didn't want to do it on a car that I didn't want to keep. What I mean by that is, obviously I wanted to keep the Prelude. I loved it. Great car, just terrible body. And my issue with that was I really wanted to have a good body because this is a car that I'd like to keep for like 20 years, for a good while. Because My oldest brother Brian, he's the one that first introduced it to me and my other brother Lalo, because he owned one back in like '08, '09. Super clean. Freaking the interior is just, it's iconic. It's just so iconic. I'll have to show you guys my brother Lalo's interior. He's got his here, so I can show you guys that interior. Beautiful H22 Euro R. Let me tell you, the most iconic part of this car is the dash. I just love this dash. Now he doesn't have the cool dash, I'll be honest, because this is the analog cluster, and there is an electroluminescent version that only came in '94 through '96 cars, Preludes, but it's swappable, and my car actually has it, which is actually right there. That's my car. I'll show you guys it some other day probably, but yeah, this car is super comfy. In terms of like the ride quality is just so nice for what it is. For it being a Honda, it's really nice, especially for it being a 33-year-old car. Yeah, 33 years old. This car is like, it's still really quite comfy, and it was never a luxury car, so pretty awesome. One thing I will say, these back seats, don't know what Honda was thinking. Nobody is that small to fit in a back seat like those. So those back seats are practically there just for show. Really retro 90s style, and that was one of the things that really drew me to the Prelude platform, other than the H22 itself. The H22 was considered the big block of Honda motors at the time. Mind you, this is 1992. This is when the H22 really debuted. So yeah, H22 was the big block. It was the big boy. It was 2.2 liter, and it was the highest horsepower motor that they had in a 4-cylinder. Not highest horsepower per liter. I think that was the B18 actually. So that one actually had the highest horsepower per liter. This one was just the highest horsepower that they had in a 4-cylinder, or like overall. The top spec of the H22 came in 220 horsepower, and that was the Euro R H22. So that actually didn't come in the Preludes. That actually came in, I want to say, the Honda Accord Euro R, so the European market. But it was a very common motor that would be swapped into the Prelude because they already had H22s. It was just the top spec of that model. Don't know why they didn't stick it in this one. Kind of whack in my opinion, but whatever. They also didn't have a Type R Prelude, which is again pretty whack in my opinion. But that made it all the more underrated to me. With that all being said, brief history, of the car. I got this, like I said, 2.5 years ago, and this body is in very good condition. So this is all pretty much original metal. This has been repaired though, I will say. There is a repair spot right here. I could tell from looking through the inside fender right there. But it looks pretty good. Like it looks like it's been done pretty well. The inside looks pretty decent as well. Doesn't look too corroded like the inside of the fender wells. This is generally where these cars love to rust. Just right here, and especially here. Very much so right here, because with the side skirt on, it loves to just like hold salt and other contaminants, and it just loves to rust there. So I was very fortunate to get this car in this condition. It did come with a full interior, no motor, no transmission. So this was already as it was. It did come with a tote of parts as well, but obviously I took everything out. I've taken the interior out. This black stuff I sprayed. This is called lizard skin, and it works as a sound deadener, so sound insulation deadener, as well as a little bit of heat insulation. They do have a ceramic heat insulation material, a spray that you would spray on top of this. So, but this one in specific that I have sprayed on is dedicated to sound insulation or sound deadening. And then I'm also doing sound deadening mats, as you can see. I just really wanted this car to be very well sound insulated and very quiet, because generally speaking, Hondas aren't very quality built in terms of comfort and ride. They're very reliable in terms of motor and practicality. So they get you from point A to point B no matter what type of thing. That's really what Honda's more focused on. And well, I've decided to just finish the job that they have. They've already given us a great platform. Let me just do the other touches that I think would make this car wonderful. And yeah, so I'm essentially making this an OEM plus build. So lots of cool features are going to be included in this. So it's going to be a quiet ride. I'm going to give it a good sound system. I won't say it's going to be freaking competition quality, but it's going to be a pretty good, decent sound system. Gonna refresh the motor. I'm gonna have it turboed. Just have a nice, decent, like 400 to 600 horsepower. Very good, very strong. Especially in this light of a car, it'll be more than enough, really. This car weighs right about 3,000 pounds, I want to say. And yeah, I'll be also doing a few like modern touches. So I will be doing electronic power steering. It's actually quite easy. We'll get to that when we get to it, really. What else would I be doing? Oh, I forget. There's so much I've had planned for this car that I forget like all the different things that I was gonna do to it. I forget. I'll probably give more details later on. Anyway, yeah. So I'm basically giving this car a complete refresh. It's technically a resto mod. So I've already got the inside metal work all corrosion protected, sound insulated, and whatnot. So the interior gonna last. It's gonna last for a very long time. Next next thing I'll be doing will be the undercarriage. I've already sprayed the front fenders, but I've decided it's not enough. The way I'm doing the rest of this car, I need to match the quality. So I will be Raptor lining the whole undercarriage, the whole frame, whatever. I've also refreshed the suspension. Yeah, the suspension already. So that's why there's absolutely no suspension under here. Not sure if you guys can see it too well, but there's no suspension under here essentially. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. I've already refreshed it. I will post like some before and after photos so you guys can visually see what the difference is. But right now I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like now, all said and done. But yeah, this is a project that's been on my mind for many years, and it's finally coming to fruition. So if you like this, if you enjoy watching this, and you decide to donate to the cause, that would be great. I very much appreciate it, because this isn't very cheap. It's not very expensive either. If I were to take this to a shop, and have them do everything that I'd like to do to it, it could easily be like right at about $50,000. So basically the price of a new car. The way I'm doing it by myself, essentially, there are some things that I will be, having done, like because I simply don't have the tools or the expertise to do it. It's essentially going to cost me. My budget would be to be under 20,000, and I think I could definitely hit that. To be honest, I'm on good track. I think I've maybe spent, excluding the car, I would say I've spent maybe at absolute most 2,500, absolute most, and I don't even think I've maybe hit 2,000. I think, but I could be wrong. I could be forgetting some things, but I want to say I think I'm at like 2,500, and I've done quite a bit, in my opinion, or from what I can remember. But anyway, let me give you guys a quick look at my suspension that I do have. So, like I said, I've refreshed many parts. I sandblasted much of it myself, and then I sent it off to be powder coated. Saved me a lot of bucks, let's just say that. So, spindles, those coilovers I actually bought for a great deal. Front and rear spindles. This is a remanufactured power steering rack and pinion. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like the quality of it being remanufactured, so it is what it is. It's better than what I had, obviously. I bought new outer tie rods as well for it. Brand new ball joints on all four freaking spindles. Brand new upgraded sway bars, front and rear. I have a traction bar already on it. That's actually what this engine hoist is mounted on. This is an 850 fab traction bar. And let me tell you, it's awesome. I love the quality. What else? I've done a bit of AN lines on the brake system, but I might have to actually redo that. So more on that later. Look at this cute guy. He's such an attention whore. No, but right. So I think that's about it right here and here. Let me go give you guys a look at the rest of the suspension that I have. All right, so like I've said, I sandblasted all these parts, but I did send them out to get powder coated, obviously because I don't have the equipment to powder coat, and well, honestly, this lighting doesn't do it justice. I do have my phone on me. This color here is called Misty Root Beer. So I sprayed it on the front and rear subframe and my lower control arms. I want to say these are, I forget what these are called. No, these aren't the trailing arms. Those are the trailing arms. No, wait. Those are the toe arms. These are the trailing arms. And then right now, I will be running the OEM upper control arms. Reason being is that the ones I want to get, they're a little pricey, so I'm just gonna hold off on those, and those are quickly, take them out, put the new ones in, all said and done, whatever. I think they're about $800 for the 4 of them, so they're quite pricey for what they are, and besides, these are actually in pretty good condition. One of the things that I was very fortunate when buying this car, the roller trail car, is that it already had the energy suspension polyurethane bushings installed. And if you don't know what that is, basically it's upgraded suspension system, upgraded bushings, and polyurethane is essentially like the best comfort the best balance between comfort and reliability for a suspension system. And yeah, I already had a kit for it that I had bought for my other Prelude, but I hadn't installed it obviously because that body was shot. So I was like, hold on, I'll just save it for, you know, when I get a good roller shell. Turns out this one already had it, so I'm probably just gonna end up giving that kit to my brother. Anyway, so I was very fortunate to have this kit already installed because I absolutely hate pressing out bearings, bushings, and all that sort. I hate it, especially in the rust belt. It is terrible. It is a nightmare. So I am very happy. I'm very fortunate that this was already done for me. And yeah, I can't wait for this suspension to go back in. The only thing that's holding me back from putting it in is just Raptor lining the undercarriage. So I just have to get on that. I also rebuilt my calipers, my brake calipers. These are upgraded OEM. So the VTEC model of the Honda Prelude had bigger brakes than the SI and the S model Preludes, 4th generation. And so this car has the VTEC brakes, so these are slightly bigger. Now, I'm only going to be running these until my brakes essentially wear out. I'm just going to wear the crap out of them. And then I'm going to upgrade to these bad boys. These are Acura RL calipers. These are 4-piston calipers. Man, this lighting really sucks, I'm sorry. These are 4-piston calipers. And just look at this, at the size difference, I guess. I'll have to switch to 5-lug and a 350Z front rotor to be able to run these. I hope you can really tell that difference, but they're about the same in length, but these are a lot deeper. So there's a lot more surface area, and then given the fact that it's 4 pistons, you get a much more even bite on the brake disc. So gonna be a much more efficient brake system, much stronger, and it's just gonna be wonderful. These are the rear brakes that I will be keeping original, because really when you upgrade a brake system, you generally only need to upgrade the fronts. Unless you really need some strong brake power, then also go ahead and upgrade the rears, but that's really not the case for this car. This is also a center console that I will be switching to. I will be doing some stuff on the interior bits as well, more on that later. But yeah, there's plenty to do on this car. I will be essentially modding every aspect I can. And it's just going to be really time consuming for one, but for two, it's going to be quite an experience for me, because this is all first time for me. This is all first time, actually going all out on modifications and whatnot, and actually, doing a project, a full-fledged project. Because I've worked on cars, general maintenance and whatnot for quite a few years now, maybe 5 years now. Simple stuff, nothing crazy, nothing custom necessarily. And this is pretty much all custom. It's not super, super custom, I would say. I have to fabricate every aspect of it. It is not like that, thankfully. This is a bit of both. It's more of bolting on some new stuff and creating some new things as well. So this is a very fun project, and yeah, stay tuned for whatever comes next. Thanks for watching.